As he holds his arm out, he feels himself lose control over his body, and he hears the voice of Saffron again. You are close, but you need the crack. And as he says that, the same spell happens again. Your air, breaking that sound barrier, mixed with Saffron's fire as a lightning bolt streaks across the sky in front of you. And you travel, and you appear 5 feet from the ground, and it hurts when you hit it.
Oh!
But it doesn't hurt as bad as it could because you were able to slow your descent a little bit. I think you are taking 4 wounds. And you hear a distant sound of thunder mixed with the bark of a wolf.
Did I just hear myself? My head is ringing. I don't know what's going on right now. Saffron, where are you? Who? Am I the bottle?
You are the bottle. And as you hear that, you feel the heat of lightning, and Hoenir appears next to you. And he says, a bunch more paladins showed up out of nowhere. I had to leave.
Well, I'm glad you're okay, Hoenir. I have no idea what's going on, but you might be surprised to hear me say this. The Fellowship is not the best right now. I'm not too pleased with these fellows as they were.
You were just talking them up like 20 minutes ago.
Hoenir, I think I've been betrayed. They said I did something. I don't know what I did. I mean, I may have pioneered what they know to be reality. I went to another place. This is why I was trying to get back to them. I was trying to enlighten them. And I mean, how would they even know about this? I mean, perhaps they're referring to the man I brought back to life a few weeks ago, but...
Didn't you say that was years ago?
Hoenir, it's hard to tell at this point.
Listen, I thought you said it was years ago, but wouldn't you think they would be happy to see you?
I would have assumed...
After 30 years?
Why would they even know that why would it be on anyone's list after 30 years? Yes, they should have forgotten about me and should be happy to see me at this point.
I guess we're gonna have to figure it out.
I mean, yeah, Hoenir, we gotta figure this out. This goes deeper and higher than either of us, and I'm sorry if I'm just chatting on, but I'm a little confused, to say the least.
I have no idea what's going on either, so at least we're both confused.
Well, if Balthazar is after me, I'm not going back to the tower, not at least in the front door. I mean, honestly, what I need an informant, willing or otherwise. I need someone to clarify some things for me.
Do you have anyone that you think you could still trust at the tower?
It's been a long time. People change. But then again, people don't change. So yeah, I probably do have somebody. Do I have a lone gunman somewhere in the tower?
I don't know. Saffron chimes in, and it's very weird when he does, because he does it using your mouth. And he says, I think we are thinking too linearly.
Linearly, so what? We have a goal, we look at the goal, we draw a straight line. I mean, I know I probably have some goodwill back at the Iron Tower, but do I really want to go to a place where apparently now everybody wants me dead?
And you feel your mouth move again. Now everyone wants you dead. You traveled 30 years. We could move backwards.
We traveled through time. Okay. I can't say this out loud because basically I'm a man of science. This is unfounded science. This changes reality. This is pseudoscience.
You said you were a pioneer. Maybe this is the thing you're a pioneer of.
All those times I said I was a pioneer, I was just trying to impress you. But I do think that, fake it till you make it. You got to believe in yourself. But if we can travel through time, if we can, if that is indeed a possibility, then yes, we alter this reality or our futures, or at least escape this persecution by leaving. We get out of here. We travel to a place where we are either safe or we make the changes we need to make. Or we travel somewhere where we ask the questions we need to ask. Like, why is any of this happening? If I go back 30 years and walk into the Iron Tower, maybe I could get some questions as to why I'm going to be a fugitive 30 years in the future. Thoughts?
Are you sure this is possible, Saffron? It happened once. I'm sure we can do it again. I mean, I'm game for whatever. I kind of got nothing going on, so I'll come with you. I don't know if I fully understand what's going on.
Hoenir, you're very generous with your time and your expertise.
I'm learning stuff.
By expertise, I also mean your bark, your manipulation of time and space.
As far as I know, it's just space.
Oh, right.
But according to Saffron, maybe not.
I sort of think that you are the space and he's the time. Maybe you're the space and he's the time-space.
Shakes his head a little bit.
Don't think too hard about it. It doesn't make any sense.
We should. He looks up at the volcano towering above you. We should probably get moving.
Saffron, what do we need?
What do you mean?
Take me back 30 years. Take me back to where I'm from. We'll solve it there. We'll figure out why they want me and what does that mean for whatever I was gonna do. We need to go to a safe place.
The two of you begin walking. The ground around you is stony and there are a few trees up where you landed, and you make your way down towards the tree line. Saffron guides you from inside your head, and the 2 or 3 of you sort of just wander around for a while. It seems like Saffron's looking for something, but you aren't quite sure what. And after a while, you find an old, gnarly tree like the one you spotted up in Nordja when you came out of the other place for the first time. And as you approach it, you feel your hand out of your control, unsheath your sword, and your mouth moving quickly, saying things you don't understand. And it burns a little bit. It's hot. You can feel your breath, something inside you is burning as your arm and your sword trace one of the lines in this gnarly trunk. And you feel your other hand go to the edge of the sword and slice your finger a little bit. Move it towards this line in the tree that's now glowing and rub it along the line. That was all very weird. You had no control over your movements.
Were my eyes glowing blue?
I think they were glowing orange, but you would not have noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear Saffron's voice inside your head. This will lead us through to the other place. We can try to travel to other locations in Fenrayne.
Other places in Fenrayne? Other times?
We will see. We may need to do some experiments.
I say we go directly to the Iron Tower. We confront Balthazar on our terms instead of his this time. I'm not saying this is going to end peacefully, but odds are it's going to end a lot more peaceful than if we go there now. We need answers before we decide what our future plans are. We have to decide what is expected of us in this future. We're out here as renegades, but don't know why. That's my pick. Thoughts, Hoenir, Saffron? This is a democracy.
This may take some time. We will need to do trial and error. If I can help at all, I saw that... was it you Cælum, or was it you, Saffron? You traveled like me. I mean, if that's anything, I can try to teach you. Maybe you won't have to do this weird ritual thing next time.
Well, I'm game. In fact, all this walking around's got me kind of antsy. I think it's probably because I haven't slept in like 2 days, but let's do this. Let's go for it. Where are we going, boys?
After you hear in your head.
And here we go. 1 step, 2 step, and okay. And Cælum steps through.
And you cross into the other place. In front of you are walls. They look like they were built by people. Stone, and they reach up 100 feet. The sky is overcast and cloudy, and it's completely silent. Do you want to do a training montage?
Sure.
How do we do a training montage? In podcast audio form?
Do we roll? Or
Maybe?
or is it more narrative?
I mean, we could roll and narrate based on the results.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
So I think you get all your wounds and strain back, because this is going to take time.
I was pretty wounded and strained.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's have a roll for Saffron, a roll for Hoenir, and a roll for Cælum. And you tell me what you think they're rolling to do.
And I can choose the roll?
Yeah.
Cælum's definitely, I think, should do a forbidden check.
Okay. Cælum will do a forbidden check, and we're going to make it against 2 purples. All right, so what were you rolling to do?
I wish I could see my successes.
It was 0.
0?
Yeah.
Like
you got
a
2
total
advantages and 2 threats, and they canceled each other out. Yep.
Wow. Well, I want Cælum to... Okay. No. This makes sense.
So the first part of our training montage, you are in this odd, like almost like a fortress. Ancient stone walls that are crumbling and uncrumbling. The stones are falling, but some of the stones are coming back up and finding their places on the walls. The sky is overcast, and even when the stones fall and unfall, they make no sound. You feel the breeze near your ankles, but that's it.
So I think we start with Cælum walking through this labyrinth with a small journal, probably his book he got from Bellman, taking some notes and peering around at the walls and the ground and the walls that stretch up almost endlessly, taking notes about the strange place that he's in. We cut later to definitely them resting just in the middle of one of these long corridors.
I think you found almost like a courtyard, and it has a fountain in the middle that there's no water, and it's just empty. And even though there's no water, when you look into it, you see a reflection.
Interesting. Cælum writes something about that in the journal. This courtyard has some fruit-bearing trees, and it's pretty dry, so the 3-ish of us don't need shelter and can, continue to eat and, find our way out or not while we're in this labyrinth.
Tastes like nothing, but it sustains you for a little while.
Okay. I think part of his check for this montage is some attempts to manipulate a way to travel through either space or time.
You sort of copy what Saffron does when Saffron has sort of run a blade along an edge or run one object along an edge to create a gateway, a door, but do not have the success that Saffron has had in the past.
Does anything happen at all?
Maybe you get the sparks, but they don't catch.
Okay.
And eventually Saffron makes a gateway, and where do you end up?
So Saffron makes a gateway. How does he make it?
In the same way that you were making it, and he gives you a little bit of instruction on maybe what you were doing incorrectly.
And does it sort of like crack like the material around it?
It doesn't.
So his gateway just appears like as a crack in just space, like empty space.
Saffron runs your small sword along the corner of one of these walls, and you see that the sparks, and then you see the glowing line that is only there if you're looking at it from a certain direction.
Got it. So we enter into the crack?
Yeah. So I think this montage is happening over the course of weeks, if not months, as you're learning from each other and figuring new stuff about the worlds that you come from.
So
where do you end up when you come out?
Is this my choice?
Yeah. I mean, based on your 0 successes, you have not moved. You're still 30 years from the first time that you went in. You're 30 years outside of time with Bellman.
Wait. So wherever I'm going to end up is not.
It is when you were attacked by the Anza. Yeah.
Okay. But this is influenced by Saffron?
No, this is your check. So you're determining this.
Okay. We take a step out of the crack, the 3-ish of us.
Uh-huh.
Huh. This used to be my bedroom.
Great. Who's next?
Where do we go from there? Wait, am I going back? So am I going back into it?
We're going to cut to a few days or a week later. The 3 of you find yourselves again in the other place. The place you're in is a little bit similar to the last place you were. Instead of stone now, it's overgrown. There are vines climbing these tall walls. The sky above you is no longer overcast. It is bright white, and little plants are sticking up out of the ground. It is completely still. Nothing is moving at all, and it's very quiet, except for that little bit of wind at your ankles.
How could there be wind at my ankles when these walls tower 100 feet above us? Just another question to write down in my book.
Saffron says, I am not prepared to reveal all of the secrets of the other place yet.
Saffron, one day I'm going to crack that egg open, and I can't wait to eat the yolk.
I don't really like that analogy.
Oh, analogies are a lot like eggs. And Cælum continues on about how analogies are a lot like eggs, and the yolk is knowledge, and he can't wait to crack it open and eat it.
Hoenir is going to do the next check. What do you think it should be?
How about, for many reasons, I have a lot of different ideas. I like the idea of like discipline or knowledge, just straight up knowledge.
Okay. For what?
Or all the same thing, just to naturally eat. It should, whatever he uses, it should be the most like simple. His talents are, he's gifted, so whatever he does, it should be like just the skill of naturally knowing how to do what he does. And is what he's trying to do to get them out?
I think this is all about the 3 of you learning the skills that you all have and trading knowledge. So Saffron has this inherent knowledge of how to get in and out of this place. You have an inherent knowledge, or a learned knowledge of magic, and Hoenir has this inherent skill that his people have that I think he explains is not built in, but taught at a young age, taught by parents to cubs how to do this sort of thing. And
you know what?
Yeah.
I almost think it should be like a combat skill.
Okay.
What's his best combat skill?
He only has brawl.
I think it should be brawl.
Why?
Because I think that his ability to traverse space is like an intense physical feat, and he should do
it. Should be athletics or coordination then, maybe?
I think the 3 of them could work in tandem. I think athletics makes plenty of sense.
All right, so Hoenir rolled 3 successes and 3 advantages. So you're in this weird space with towering walls and corridors and plants growing up the sides of these stone walls. The 3 of you find a passageway that is a lot longer than the rest of them, and Hoenir picks this one as the place to teach because of its length, and he can get a good running start. And he demonstrates without actually doing it so that he doesn't leave. He gets up to his full speed and runs and barks, and you think you get it based on what he's talking about and what Saffron did up in the air back a few days or weeks ago. Time's getting a little funny as you're moving back and forth, but you think you get it, and I think Cælum gives it a try. And then how does Cælum do it? How does he do this spell?
He's trying to emulate Hoenir's take on Saffron's spell.
He's trying to emulate Saffron's take on Hoenir's spell based on what Hoenir's showing him now. So there's this ability that Vargr cubs are taught by their parents when they're just young to travel from one point to another place. He explains that you have to keep the location in your mind as you go, and it explains in the way he is able to what the spell consists of.
Am I traveling through space and time, or just space?
I think probably just space.
Okay. I think that this time around, Cælum is keeping in mind all of Hoenir's instructions and also Saffron's instructions, the ones that came out of his mouth, even though he didn't understand why. And he's kind of missing every other thing that Saffron says. How does that? What is it? What Saffron says? It's probably like hast in how hey how hing how ra nin, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hast in har in sin car nen, and is at a full sprint because this is how Hoenir does it. You gotta run.
And Hoenir's on your heels too, just in case you actually get it to work.
And does Cælum need a tool to make this, like, or is it just, it's wind? He's gonna use wind, I guess.
It's combining your magic with what you learned when you were in the air, and Saffron used his fire to superheat it. Like you just made a sonic boom. You just emulated the sound, but now you are moving the air molecules in a scientific way, making them move in a way that makes that sound, and probably a flash of light too.
To Cælum, this is a spell of moving air away from each other to manipulate energy.
Is it a spell or is it science?
Okay, well, in Cælum's mind, I think all spells are science.
Yeah.
They're all just basically using telekinesis to manipulate matter and atoms. So that's what he's going to do. But running this time with slightly more understanding of what he's doing.
Yeah. And as you run, you feel the air heat around you, and there is a crack as energy is dispelled. And Hoenir is right on your heels, and the two of you come out somewhere else and trip all over each other and fall in a pile.
Easy.
Where is it that you collapsed?
I think, can it be anywhere?
Pretty much.
I think we collapse in a frozen tundra in a intense blizzard.
Yeah. The two of you slide into a tree, and as Hoenir hits it, all the snow falls from the branches and falls on top of you.
Cold enough for you, Hoenir.
Saffron's got the third check. What part of the other place do we find these people? Do we find Hoenir and Cælum and Saffron?
How about a callback to our previous pre-game conversation? A world of complete endless blackness.
Okay, yeah.
And the only illumination is Saffron illuminating like 6 feet in diameter.
Oh, no. It's complete and utter blackness, but you can still see each other perfectly, as if there is a light source somewhere, but there is no light source.
Cælum says, there aren't enough pages in my journal here to describe how little sense this makes, but I am able to see and hear and understand you, and I'm willing to listen and learn. So please do divulge upon me about how we continue.
This world is limitless, but it has its limits. As I said when we first met, I have explored every edge of it and seen everything there is to see.
You've explored every edge of this universe, or every universe?
This one.
I think I could safely say that I've been here 10 minutes. I think I have also explored every inch of this universe.
There is always more than what you can perceive, especially with your limited senses. I know I am inside your head.
Gotta get you out of here. We gotta get back to Hearth, Saffron. You gotta get out of my head. I need a vessel. I need the most jewel-ridden jar that I can buy. That's your next ticket.
So Saffron is going to try and teach you what he knows. What do you think Saffron should roll?
I think it should be a perhaps knowledge, lore, forbidden,
Arcana?
Yeah, I would be okay with Arcana too.
Saffron rolled Arcana. Saffron rolled 3 successes and 1 triumph. You are in this place of endless blackness, and once again, time means very little here. And you know that you've rested, and you know that you've eaten, but you can't really remember how many times you've rested and eaten here. And Saffron has explained a great number of things about the place that you're in, and who they are, and the magic that you can do. And they explain that once a crack is open, it is not closed. It does not close. And all of the spaces and cracks that have been made are still there. And this space of endless blackness, there don't seem to be any edges, any cracks, anything that you could make a gateway from. I think enough time has gone by and you've been in enough weird situations now that you and Hoenir carry some strange things with you.
Cool.
And one of those strange things is you pull out of Hoenir's side pouch just a stick, and laying it on the ground, Saffron shows you what they know, and you combine that with what you've learned from Hoenir and are able to use it in a very scientific way of superheating the air around this jagged shape and creating a gap that you can move through. And Saffron explains this is sort of a combination of both Saffron and Hoenir's lessons on it, that you need to keep a place in mind. And I think you infer from this that you could also potentially keep a time in mind.
So do I need to cause a fracture in the stick?
The shape is good enough.
Just follow the shape of the stick. It's kind of a cracked shape.
You simply need an edge.
An edge? Well, okay.
I understand you are a Hylia of science, but you think too much.
Certainly. I mean, I will do my best to understand you. So, is Cælum going to use magic to try and emulate sort of a combination between what Hoenir and Saffron are able to do?
Mm-hmm.
And what that might be is a incredibly fast change of air pressure and heat.
Yep.
To create basically a crack.
Crack in the world.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to do a check?
No, Saffron rolled a triumph.
And that means that Cælum does it?
You did it.
Well, I had decided that he wanted to get to the Iron Tower 30 years in the past.
Yeah, it would make sense that that's where we end up.
Okay, so all this while...
Yeah, he's holding on to that place and time in his mind.
He wants to go back to the Iron Tower 30 years in the past. He needs to understand why he has become blacklisted and either save his name or figure out why and solve this problem. He's focusing on this in his mind, focusing on the teaching of his 2 mentors, Saffron and Hoenir, and the words that Saffron just expressed to him. And I think that he, under his breath, mutters a few of the words that he has heard Saffron mutter. I think that this is sort of something that he's done in his own magic, and he's not even sure if it's really part of what makes this work or if it's just part of the meditation process, but he does it anyway. And I think there's a crack of like lightning, but it doesn't quickly crack across his vision. There's a small light, and then the crack extends and crackles, and I think it's almost a mirror image of the stick in front of him.
And you hear the sound of almost like thunder echo back from the other side.
He looks around to Hoenir and Saffron, and I think doesn't say a word and steps forward towards this portal that he's created in space and or time, and he steps into it.
You walk through and are immediately hit by familiar smell and recognize exactly where you are. You're in the forbidden section of the Iron Tower's massive library. Bookshelves rise up 15 feet above you, and there are ladders and the second story of iron scaffolding above you as well. Books with chains, and it's further into the library than you've ever been before. And Hoenir steps out of this crack behind you, and it just sort of shimmers in the air there.
How do we close it? Does it close automatically? Also, that amazing. I did it.
Congratulations. And as I said, once a gate is opened, it does not close.
So it doesn't close? That's just gonna be there?
People may not see it, but it will be there.
Are there consequences to opening such things throughout space and time?
Your world was built on the consequences of these gateways.
I have so many questions, but we don't have time for that. We are in this is most certainly a deep and forbidden area of the Iron Tower's archive. I was thinking of the Iron Tower when I got here. The smell is familiar. I'm hoping that the time we've landed in is approximate, at least earlier than a time when I was accused of whatever I was accused for. Boy, this is confusing. The two of you, we need answers. I thank you for following me on this journey. Now, if you will, we act natural. Hoenir, you're a visiting scholar. Pretend like you're... No. Pretend like you're too good to be here. Stand up really, really straight. Like, so straight it's obnoxious. There we go. Okay. Don't let that down. And if someone asks you a question, pretend like you're annoyed.
As you instruct Hoenir in the ways of the scholar, I'll flip a story point over because you begin to hear the sounds of heavy boots and the clink of mail and partial plate armor as somebody approaches. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Other Place. If you like The Other Place, you should listen to Tales from the Grey Library and the Fenrayne Files. In Tales from the Grey Library, we follow new sets of adventurers and stories all across the world of The Other Place. Each story features a different GM and new players. And in the Fenrayne Files, we take a zoomed-out look at the world of The Other Place, with topics ranging from myths and legends in the Fellowship of the Seven Rivers to specific saints and necromancers. Come join us as we expand the world and learn more about it. The Other Place is a production of Nightcast Creative. For more about us and the things that we do, visit nightcastcreative.com.